Hey guys, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. Oh wow. I really do try not to make 3 videos in one day because believe it or not, I get sick of hearing myself. However, whoop, start stop the press. Stop right now, you guys. Breaking news. How many of you know that on Monday, September 15th, there was a congressional hearing on weather modification? And why is this not being broadcast across America? I'm not seeing any major news outlets pick this up unless they are fact checking this. So we're going to get into it, not long because I don't have very long. Just wanted to tell you guys that this is getting, wait till you hear what the EPA said. Now, my friend and I wrote a book, Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. You can get it everywhere. Please get your copy. If you've never heard of weather modification, contrails, chemtrails, cloud seeding, or what type of chemicals they use to do those things, please get this book. It is a beginner all the way to expert type book. It's going to tell you how to clean your soil, how to clean your water, how to clean yourself, because it's bad. The chemicals they're putting on us are heavy metals. They like not to tell you that. Let me let you hear what the EPA said, and then I have something to say about this that's very personal to me where the EPA is concerned. But let's get this puppy rolling.
Consequences for the rest of us. That's why I'm grateful for the transparency the Trump administration is shedding on this issue. Leading this effort is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. I am now going to play a video clip in which he recently addressed this issue personally and directly.
Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means that anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA Administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? Or seen headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming? We've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
I look forward to hearing from our witnesses, but first I yield to Ranking Member Stansbury for her opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Well, DOGE is back, and there's going to be a lot to unpack in this hearing. But I think first and foremost, we want to acknowledge that the purpose of this subcommittee and why it was created in the first place by the majority was to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. That's literally.
Okay, so that's all interesting. I'll link it. You guys can go watch it. All right. Now, this is the EPA underneath Joe Biden. By the way, YouTube does not pay me. They think my content is harmful. And I'm literally fighting for my husband's life with this brain aneurysm. If you like to row in our boat, look in the top of comments, add your email, and I'll get you on our newsletter. East Palestine. So this right here is called the Government Accountability Project. It is a watchdog group based in Washington, D.C. In the latest charge, GAP accuses the EPA of manipulating the scope of dioxazine contamination in the village, citing an EPA letter dated 1 month after the derailment. This is the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, 2 years ago in August. It says, according to the GAP, the letter proves the EPA directed Norfolk Southern to remove certain derailment chemicals from its sampling list and to collect more baseline soil samples meant to reflect pre-derailment dioxin levels at locations heavily exposed to the initial fire and the vent and burn of vinyl chloride. This is happening in my community right now under Trump's EPA. Please, friends and family, hear me. There was an explosion in my community. A hydrocarbon 60-year-old plant exploded. It burned a black cloud 3 miles high for 48 to 72 hours. It dumped millions of gallons of toxic chemicals into one of the most pristine waterways in South Louisiana, contaminating over 100 miles of river. And what did the EPA do? They did the exact same thing. They allowed the plant, they allowed Smitty's, the refinery, the holding tanks, the mixing plant, whatever you want to call it. They allowed them to test, take the samples, and they allowed them to send it to the exact same lab used in East Palestine, Ohio. This may be a new generation of EPA employees, but the type of work they do has not changed. They are not being held accountable for lying to the American people. There are people having to put down their horses in my community. There are hundreds of acres of agricultural fields people cannot allow their livestock to graze, and nobody is helping us. The state is not bringing in water. The EPA is not being honest about the types of toxins that we have been exposed to, and nobody's cleaning our river. Now, these are all the different places you can get the book my friend and I wrote, Growing Under a Poison Sky. You can get it literally everywhere. Everywhere. I'm so excited. So if you would just, support us like that, that would be amazing. Okay. Now, you can't find much about this meeting of lawmakers, Congressional Weather Modification hearing, unless you find this. Fact checking. Fact check. Green opens hearing on weather and climate. Fact check. A congressional subcommittee spent nearly 2 hours Tuesday discussing the rarely practiced but frequently talked about science of weather modification and geoengineering. I just want to show you. This is why the Smith-Mundt Act must be put back into place. And it should be named the Charlie Kirk Act. So I just want to show you guys. Here's another one. Republicans introduced nearly 20 bills based on debunked conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. They should be, the fact that they are allowed to tell the American public this over and over again. If you believe this is a conspiracy, I challenge you, purchase this book and read it. And if your mind is not at least concerned, I'll buy my book back from you. Republicans across the country are working hard to pass bills banning something that the fringe corners of the internet told them to be afraid of, weather modification. Really? Okay. It refers to geoengineering process such as solar radiation modification, cloud seeding that are used to counter the effects of global warming. I'm going to challenge that statement. It is actually what is creating global warming at the extent that we are seeing it now. You cannot dump toxic chemicals on people constantly and not change. In fact, excuse me, guys, let me read a few of the chemicals that they use. Silver iodide. This is all in the book, by the way. Potassium iodide, sulfur dioxide, bismuth triide, frozen carbon dioxide, dry ice, propane. Yes, propane is often mixed with silver iodide or other chemicals to create cloud seeding solutions. It is an alkaline compound with 3 carbon atoms and has the chemical formula C3H8. Propane is a common substance used as a fuel. It is a natural gas that is often colorless, but can turn into liquid form in cold temperatures. In an unventilated area, propane can take the place of oxygen in the lungs. This makes breathing difficult or impossible. Since we are discussing propane sprayed into the atmosphere, what we need to know are the effects, if any, on plants and in water when it is in part or full of the artificial rain mix coming down. Ammonia nitrate, uride compound, which if exposed to skin can cause skin irritation. Calcium carbide, calcium chloride. Yeah. Those chemicals have no right to be dumped into our stratosphere to rain down on us for years. I am an organic grower. This year, the 4th year that I have grown no-till, heavy mulch, no, you know what I'm saying, all that beautiful way that I grow food. And all of a sudden, we started getting these weird rains like end of July. And a fungus just grew on all of my plants and everything died. Everything. Even okra, which normally can grow without rain for a month, it's not affected. I'm just saying, you can say what you want, but I spent 6 months with a good friend of mine, not only researching, but telling you how you can combat it. I just find it very odd that you almost can't find anything about this subcommittee congressional hearing unless they're saying it is a conspiracy theory. Also, the Economic Times posted the video, but when you go, it say it's not available. I find that a little odd too. Okay. I just want to share that with you guys. Love you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Please make sure that you hit the notification bell, guys. I've got a really great video coming tomorrow. I've got some people from my community that are going to be Zooming with me, and I'm going to be Zooming with Dave Hodges on Friday about what happened in my local community. So talk to you guys later.